A few weeks ago, I did a video called 7 great fragrances that smell way better than I expected. And you guys seem to have enjoyed that video based on the feedback, based on the engagement. So I'm here to deliver another installment into what could be a series if you guys want to see such a thing. Now, in the previous video, we had a little bit of a specific but very simple criteria that dictated the fragrances that were in that video. There were fragrances that either I blind bought or blindly accepted from a brand or a store that maybe I was a little bit skeptical about to begin with, and the fragrance exceeded my expectations. But I'm expanding the criteria a little bit for this episode. We're also going to include fragrances that maybe I've needed some time to warm up to it. Maybe I've had it for a little while and I've really enjoyed it, or I've been kind of lukewarm about it. And at this point in time, after some other wears, I've grown to really enjoy it and maybe even be blown away by it. So we do have some new blood here. We have some old-ish blood here.
But don't worry, no real blood. It's just all fragrance. That's the only liquid we're talking about.
And this particular installment is brought to you guys by FragranceBuy.ca. We talk about them every month. They're a fantastic source for designer, niche, and everything in between if you're looking for fragrances on the internet at great deals. You can get all kinds of perks with their rewards program. Definitely worth looking into if you are a frequent blind buyer, which you know how I feel about. I don't recommend it, but I can't control what you do with your money. So if you're gonna do it, you might as well get some rewards for doing it. And all 7 fragrances I will talk about are available at FragranceBuy.ca at the links down below the like button. So with all that out the way, let's dive right into it. The first couple fragrances here are brand new to my collection. I knew I would like them, but I like them a whole lot more than I thought I would, and I have a feeling I will like them even more with time. This is lovely, simple but lovely. We have Kenzo OM Marine. I believe this is a 2023 release. To be honest with you, I kind of missed it. I overlooked it. I didn't even really know about it. A lot of you guys know I've been really digging the EDP version of OM, of this new OM line, and it's still wonderful. It's still awesome. I will still be talking about it and wearing it, but this Marine one was, again, overlooked by me, so my bad. But I've come back around to it and I was surprised. I kind of thought it would be a simple, pretty natural, high quality smelling, fresh aquatic, and it is that, but there's a little bit more depth here than I was expecting from an element that I did not quite expect to enjoy, which is florals. Perfumer Quentin Beach did a phenomenal job blending what I knew would be natural, salty marine accords with ylang ylang. The yellow floral, it's known to be fruity. Some people say it smells a little bit like banana, very tropical smelling. You get that here. It brings this beachiness to the scent. Thankfully, not quite like suntan lotion, which I'm not a fan of. No creamy coconut vibes here. It is mostly an aquatic that at its heart is a fruity floral, but it still smells actually quite masculine. It's uplifting. It's very much daytime wear. It's a fun fragrance with a little bit more substance to it, and I think it's because it comes off pretty natural. It's good quality stuff, so better than I thought it would be. Again, still getting to know it because it's brand new, but let me know if you dig this stuff yourself. That's Kenzo OM Marine. From a house that I've had a few of you guys telling me I really need to get into, and honestly, I have gotten into them. I actually had some decants years ago of a few fragrances from this house, and I spent maybe a little bit of time with them. I don't remember much, and I lost them, unfortunately. So haven't been able to revisit the house until now. I'm so happy to have this and get to know it better, and boy, this house makes some beautiful citrus-based fragrances that are so natural. Some of the most beautiful natural smelling citrus you can get. This is from Perris, Monte Carlo. They call this Cedro di Diamante, which I believe means diamond cedar.
That's cool.
But this is a little bit of what I thought it would be and a little bit more of what I didn't think it would be. I knew it would be a bright, naturalistic, juicy, mouth-watering citrus. And it is just that. You get quite a beautiful blend of bergamot with some citron, with lime. There's a lemony quality to it. It is just all the citruses blended together, very bright, sour, mouth-watering, and very naturalistic. But behind that is quite a bit of depth, more than I thought it would be. There's a warm spiciness to it. There's a ginger, there's some Sichuan pepper, there's pink pepper, there's even a little bit of cardamom, keeping it a little fresh. Very spicy heart, and it just gets warmer and broader as it dries down. Gets even a little bit mossy and stays pretty woody as it dries down. So more depth than you might expect from a very natural smelling, bright citrus fragrance. Really surprised me. Again, new to my collection, getting to know it. Definitely gonna get a lot of wear during the daytime this upcoming warm season. Can't wait. Let me know if you dig this one. If you haven't tried it, once again, it'll be linked down below. That is Cedro di Diamante from Perris Monte Carlo. I've talked about this fragrance a few times so far on my channel. It's one that really surprised me, so it kind of has to be in this video. It's a perfect addition to this type of series. This is coming from Clive Christian, which is a house I've overlooked for years, but this got my eyes back on their house. This is called Town and Country. I got a cute little 10 milliliter bottle here. Simple fragrance, but the composition, the way the ingredients work together as an accord, the vibe that it creates around you when you wear it, it just smells like class. It smells so sophisticated, and honestly, it smells expensive, and it is expensive. This stuff is not cheap, especially when you pay retail. Fragrance Buy is of course going to have better prices than you can find retail. But once again, this is a simple fragrance characterized by ambergris, fresh, musky, slightly salty-ish, enveloping ambergris. Wow. It envelops some clary sage, which is kind of a sweet herbal quality, a little bit green. I do get something citrusy, maybe like an orange. Again, so simple, but the way it comes together, it's just all shrouded as one. Now, this is actually a pretty old fragrance. It came out many decades ago, and I think it was vaulted, and they've re-released it, maybe even reformulated it. I'm not sure. Just recently, within the past couple years. Allegedly, in its older form, it was the signature scent of Sir Winston Churchill himself, which is pretty cool. It's class in a bottle, even if it's a cute, tiny little red dwarf bottle. Check it out if you haven't already, and let me know if you have down in the comments. That is Town and Country from Clive Christian. This next fragrance is one that I've honestly really enjoyed from the first time I got it and sprayed it and wore it. It's been a few years that I've had it now, and I've enjoyed it ever since. I've talked about it several times. I'm only including it here because it's only grown on me more. So it's exceeding any expectations I've had for it over the past few years, getting to know it more and more. It just breaks through the barriers. I don't know what it is. You may not feel the same way because this is a strange scent. Not everyone's gonna dig this one. From Kilian, this is Lure Ver. This is a green absinthe fragrance. There's this licoricey, boozy quality to it. Very licorice forward. You gotta like licorice, otherwise you're not gonna enjoy this stuff. It's very natural in the licorice department. Sweet, kind of anisey, almost mentholic in a way in its freshness, but there is this woody backbone that really holds it down and gives it some depth. It's an oddball, but I think if you wear it when it's not too warm outside and you wear it in the evening, you dress it up a bit and don't spray too much, it has this vibe to it that is ultra unique, confident, and intriguing. It's something people want to ask about and get next to because you don't really smell anything like this unless you're rubbing licorice all over your neck. Don't do that. That is Killian Lure Ver. This next fragrance is relatively new to me and also quite old to me all at the same time. Let me explain. The first time I smelled this fragrance was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I was intrigued by it, but it wasn't really my taste yet. I needed time to grow into it. It was discontinued. They brought it back. I got a bottle of that newer version. I've had that bottle for a while. I've talked about it a lot. I've really enjoyed it. I've raved about it actually. It's been one of my favorite interesting aquatic fragrances. And then they discontinued that, and then they recently brought this back in a new form from Tom Ford. We have Oud Minerale. Now, I did a side-by-side unboxing comparison a few weeks ago, maybe even more than that, with this and my older bottle, and in that video you'll see very clearly that I preferred my older version of it. This one just didn't have the presence as my older one. It seems like they removed something. It was the same vibe, it's the same fragrance, but there's a little bit of hollow space in there. It's kind of hard to explain. A few of you guys reminded me in the comments, hey man, give it some time to sit for a few weeks, let it mature, and it should show its true colors. And I've done just that. I gave it some time away from it. I've come back to it. I gave it some wear, and it has pretty much the same magic as the original, if not just a little bit more accessible. It's a little less smoky to me still, but it's gotten fuller. It is the magic of Oud Minerale. Smoky, seaweedy, totally devoid of sweetness, salty, aquatic. It's a dark aquatic. It's an interesting, more nighttime based aquatic, but you can pretty much pull it off anytime. It just has a personality that is not bright. This is not a happy sunny day personality, so if you're gonna wear it in that occasion, just keep in mind there might be a little bit of dissonance, but it doesn't have to matter all that much. If you happen to buy it, maybe do what I failed to do at first. Give it some time, let it sit, and it should come into its true form. That is Tom Ford Oud Minerale. This next fragrance is one of the unsung heroes from Xerjoff. It is one that is easily overlooked by some of its counterparts in this collection, and I understand why. It's definitely not a super accessible fragrance. It's not a mass appealing fragrance. It's not even the most easy to wear comparatively, but I think it's pretty beautiful and easy to wear if you like incense. This is from the 1861 line. This is Zefiro. Now, this was a blind pickup. And the reason why, oh, it's so gorgeous. There's this white wine accord that, anyway, I'll get back to that. I picked this up because no one's talking about it. I'm like, you know what? No one's talking about Zefiro. I want to give Zefiro some love. I have a feeling it's going to be special. And I was right. This is a very special fragrance. It's a very specific scent personality, and specificity is polarizing. So I'm not guaranteeing you guys that if you haven't tried this, that when you do, or if you do, you're gonna love it because it's different. You might not like it because it's different. It is an incense based fragrance, dry, wispy, cooling, and smoky, but with this warm, spicy, ambery heart and base that still remains kind of transparent. It mainly gets woody and dry as it dries on the skin. That white wine is there for just a bit. It brings this sparkling, slightly boozy quality to the scent, but you're not going to smell it much outside of smelling it up close. But in the air, this is cooling, smoky, woody, slightly warm, ambery incense. Only gets warmer and woodier as it dries. It just smells elegant. This is day or night. This is, you want to stand out in a slightly understated way, but one that is not invisible, one that will be noticed. But don't spray too much, because most fragrances from Xerjoff are no slouches. You don't need much to enjoy this and to be noticed. So do check out Zefiro if you've been sleeping on it. Let me know if you've tried it down in the comments. Our final fragrance here definitely surprised me. It is also brand new to the collection. I recently took a trip and I brought this along with maybe 2 other fragrances with me, and most of the fragrance wearing I did during that trip was this fragrance. I like it the more I wear it and smell it. It's just so classy. It's such a beautiful, classic, masculine smelling fragrance. It definitely smells reminiscent to some fragrances that came out maybe in the 80s, maybe early 90s. This is from Acqua di Parma, and this is called Cipresso di Toscana, which is cypress from Tuscany. This is so herbal, so fresh, spicy, so aromatic, almost soapy leaning. It has this fougere-like quality. It smells like a classic man. Fresh, strong, green and woody. Lots of green and wood in here. Basil, rosemary, definitely cypress, pine, lavender. This is clean, green, masculine. You gotta like that vibe. On the skin, I find that it gets a little bit smooth, yet still being dry. I almost get the creamy dry down that I might expect from a fougere, from a classic fougere, but not quite there. It is mostly tree. It is quite a tree forward fragrance. Not super green, so don't worry about that. Not like green grass or leaves. No, it is mostly woody, but it's very fresh, very spicy. Not gonna be for everyone. Does smell a little bit more mature, but not dated, not old-fashioned, none of that. You're just gonna wanna have a more sophisticated demeanor to you when you wear a fragrance like this. You wanna dress a little bit more smartly. You wanna have people take you more seriously. This is something that will supplement that. Let me know if you've tried Cipresso di Toscana. Don't see a lot of talk about this one. I plan to get a lot of wear out of it this summer. It seems to be a perfect daytime fragrance, one that actually lasted a little bit better than I was expecting. I was getting 7 to 8 hours, smelling it all the way through pretty much to the end of the day. My wife was really loving it when I wore it. She said it just smelled strong and classy without being overwhelming. Good stuff. Let me know if you dig it. Once again, all these fragrances can be found at fragrancebuy.ca. There's going to be links down in the description. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.